So as you can see now, we have successfully signed in. So now I'm at the ADFS server. So what I want to do now is to rename the computer first. So let's do that. We are back. So next what I want to do is to just make sure that we have the correct DNS server. So as you can see here, the DNS server is this, so which is the same as our domain controller. So which is what we want as per what we configured using the DHCP option set. So next what we want to do is also over at ADFS side, also turn off the firewall. So what I want to do now is go back to the domain controller and go to the forward lookup zone. Over here, what I want to do is to add the host name of our ADFS server, at the same time put in the IP address. So that we know, so the DNS server know where to look for when it's searching for the IP address of the computer. So you can identify what is the host name. So let's do that. And the IP address of the ADFS server. So add host. Okay, click done. So now we have that. One thing to know is that if you look at our domain controller, over here, there's this ICMP. So I also added that just to make sure that you can receive all the ping commands. Now we are back at the ADFS server. So what I want to do now is to actually ping the IP address of the domain controller. Okay, so now it's able to ping successfully. So now let's try to add a domain, BFF. Let's see if it's able to do it. Okay. And it's now searching for the domain. So could not be contacted. So previously there was some hiccups. So we realized that actually we can't really join the domain. So I found the reason why. So if you go back to our AWS environment, so it has something to do with the security group. So with this current setup, so what we're going to do now is to actually allow all traffic. Because up to now, I still do not know exactly which port is actually required for this join domain exercise. But if you are able to find out, please do let me know. But for this exercise, I'll just put all traffic. I'll just save rules. And let's go back to our ADFS. So now if I click OK, as you can see now, it's able to join the domain. So now let me key my service account. And we are able to join the domain. So we just click OK. And we need to restart our computer to apply these changes. So let's do that. Let's restart this server. And we are back. So let's take a look at how we can set up the ADFS in here. So let's go to Server Manager first. Alright, so let's add a role and features. So click Next. So click Next. So we'll select server from the server pool. Click Next. Then we'll add this ADFS service. So click Next. And Next. Just leave everything as default. Click Next. And we can install. So just wait for it to install finish. So we are done. We just click Close. Then next, what we want to do is configure the federation service on this server. Let's click on that. So create the first federation service server in Federation server farm. So click next. So we need to configure. So just key in the service account credentials and click next. So over here, you actually need an SSL certificate. So how can we actually obtain this SSL certificate? We have to first install the Active Directory certificate service in the domain controller. So this is where we set up a certificate authority in our domain controller, and from there export the certificate to be copied to our ADFS server. So let's do that. Let's add roles and features. Click on next. Next. And let's click on this Active Directory certificate service. So basically this allows you to issue and manage certificates. So we click on next. If as default, click next. Then next. So we have the certificate authority, so we just click next and install. Alright, we are done. So let's click close. And let's take a look at here. Configure Active Directory certificate services on this server. So that's what we're going to do. So let's open it up. So we need to put in a credential. So let's use the ADFS service credentials. So ADFS. Then let's continue. Click on the first one, certificate authority, and let's continue. And we will choose the enterprise CA, and we want it to be the root CA because this is at the top of the PKI hierarchy. So let's do that. Okay, next. And yes, we want to create a new private key because no private key has been created before. So let's do that. Yep. We are okay with all this. Just click next. So now we need to give a name for the CA. So I guess we can just leave it as default. So we just put next. Validity 5 years. We are fine with that. Next. And we are okay with this. And we can start to configure. So configuration succeeded. So let's close this. So next what we want to do is to obtain the SSL certificate for the ADFS. So let's do that. Let's go to tools and go to certification authority. Okay. So there's a few items over here. So what I want to do is click on manage. And let's create a template first. So let's look at the one over here. We will duplicate the template for the web server. So let's give you a name. So let's put it web server CA for AD. And let's look at the security. So there are a few group of users that we want to actually manage this template. Let me choose the object types to be computers. So we put domain computers. So we want to check these two boxes. One more, domain controller. Okay, same goes for these two. Next, request handling. Before I do that, let me apply. Then request handling, I also want the private key to be exported. So apply. Yep, so that's about it. So click OK. Then next, let's go back over here. So now maybe we go back here. And then over here, we want to click on new. Certificate template to issue. So let's issue that now. So let's look for the template that we have created just now. So this is template. So click on OK. Then let's go to the management console. So once I have opened up the management console, so let's go to new, then add remove admin. So let's click on certificate, add, click on computer account, click next, local computer, and finish. And click OK. So next, what you do is go to personal, then we go to all tasks, request new certificate. So click on next. So now we have this ADFS enrollment policy. So click on next. So let's click on more information. So what I want to do now is to add this common name. So let's add fs.bff.cloud.dns.be. So click on add. So at the bottom, the DNS. Let's put the same. fs.bff.cloud.dns.be. And the other one is enterprise registration. .bff.cloud.be. So let's do that. And we click apply. Okay. So let's look at the details. Properties. Let's look at the private key. Okay, so everything seems all right. So what I want to do is click on this and click on enroll. So now the status is show successful. And let's click finish. So now what we want to do is to export this SSL certificate to a .pfx file. So let's look at here. So it's this one. So let's do that. Properties. Let's double click on it. And click on details. Copy to file. Then let's click on next. Yes, we want to export the private key. No problem. Password protected. No problem. We can always key in later. So click on next. So let's check this on. Check both of these options. So click on next. So this is where we key our password. So just give you a password for to protect our private key. So let's click on next. So let's specify a name. So ADFS. So save and next. So we are happy, just click finish. So the export was successful. So next what I want to do is to transfer this to the ADFS server. Put it over here and double click. So we put on the local machine. Yes, so there is the location. So we click on next. Password, okay. Click on next. So we want to place our certificate in the following store. Just put personal and click next. And let's click on finish. So the import was successful. So let's go back here to continue configure our settings. So maybe you go back and then click on next. So as you can see here, the certificate is shown here. So we click on it. So we just put ADFS for now. So I'll click on next. Yep. So we can always use back the same user. So ADFS service, click on OK, and account password. So create a database on this server, yes. Go next. All right, so click on next. So it seems that all the prerequisite checks has passed successfully. So now we click on configure. Okay, so now let's seems like it has successfully configured. So close. So let's next let's see if we can enable the sign-in page. So let's PowerShell, or maybe let's run as an administrator. Okay, so now we have enabled the sign-on page. So let's see whether it works. Let's see. No. Okay, maybe we try to log in to one of the user. Maybe I sign up first. On properties, on credentials. So let's see. And try the login once more. Maybe the domain of put BFF. Click on yes. So once you're in, let's do that one more time. So as you can see now, I'm able to actually go to this website and see this sign page. So once you are able to do that, means you are more or less successful in configuring this ADFS. So what happened is that actually you need to go to your domain controller to actually tell the DNS server where to resolve this domain name, because at the start they do not know where they should resolve the fs.bff.clouddns.be to which location. So in order to do that, you need to actually add one more domain name for this, and then put the ADFS IP address. Okay. So just make sure you have that. And if you go back to your ADFS, you should be able to go to this page. So click on sign in, and you have to key in your username and password. Okay, so now that I have successfully configured this sign page, let's create an account in our Active Directory to see whether we are able to sign in successfully. So let's do that. Let's go back to our domain controller, and let me close this. And let's open up the server manager. And what we want to do now is to go to this Active Directory users and computer. So basically this dialog box allows us to actually configure the different users and computers. So right now, what I'm going to do is to create a new OU first. We call this sync users. So later I'll share with you why I actually created this folder. So over here in this folder, I'll just create a new user called user1. And this is the logon name, user1. And click next. Password, just give you a password. So I'll not let the user change the password. I'll just click next. So now we have created a user. So let's see if we are able to use this user to log into our ADFS. Okay, so let's go back to our ADFS sign page. So let's key in the user that we have created just now. So as you can see now, we have successfully signed in.